Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the main stage. Wouldn't want to keep you waiting for Game 2 of Hero versus Sage.
Sage had a very strong game number 1. Let's see if you can do a repeat performance. Then ask me Belshire Vestige, and this is a great map for Blink Stalkers, of course. Hero went for Blink Stalkers and Akalon Waste as well, so you may see some more Blink action. In fact, the majority of the PvPs we've seen, people have eventually gone for Blink Stalkers. Sometimes it's expansion with a couple of Mortals, then Blink, or it's just Blink straight off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, Blink gives so many opportunities, especially if your opponent doesn't have it. It's always nice. You can get a timing window in there, and I think it's also the kind of ability that a confident player will say, look at the amount of control this gives me, and look at the kind of stuff that I can pull off with it. Here we are, folks. Belshire Vestige. So let's see where it goes. This guy's currently up 1 game in this best of 3 series here in the winner bracket. He looks to avenge Minigun. In the blue trunks, playing Protoss to the northwest, Root Sage. Versus his opponent, who was looking a little concerned in his booth earlier, but to be fair, that's kind of standard Hero. We've seen him break out of that and come back in a monstrous fashion. Let's see if he can do it again. In the red trunks, to the southeast position, playing Protoss, Liquid Hero. He's thinking about how many ways can I kill Sage? Wandering through his mind.
It's like I can use Stalkers, I can use DTs, Oracles, Phoenix.
Proxy Carrier. Never see it coming.
You know, that actually happened in this tournament.
Yes, yes it did. Admittedly not against a Protoss player. But
No. Proxy Carrier is something you see, mostly as a way to embarrass the opponent, but I don't think we're going to see that from Hero versus Sage. Not going to work against a player of Sage's caliber.
It somehow seems unlikely. I can't imagine why.
Not seen too often at the top levels. Now, again, we see Hero not scouting quite early. The most common scout time I've seen in PvP is after Cybercore.
Yep.
But then there's also the mix-up if you want to send an early probe for proxy building, you send it earlier. Or if you think your opponent's going to proxy, the 2 ways to deal with it, you either scout for the proxy or you say, you know what? There's so many locations you can put it, and I'll scout his base. And if I scout his base early, it's going to tell me if he's proxying any buildings or not. That's exactly what Sage is doing here. With a little bit of a faster scout than normal, but he's going to get in his opponent's base. He's going to see, okay, there's 2 pylons here, there's 1 gas, then a cycle, and then 2nd gas. So, you know, I can put him on a range of things. And the biggest thing I'll be looking at right now is the fact he got the cycle before the 2nd gas can often mean he really wants to get Warp Gate out very quickly.
Which of course would indicate some kind of gateway aggression. Hero is now out on the map. This is of course different from the previous game. He was able to sneak a probe past, and the question is, I suppose, what is he planning on doing with it? He could of course just scout his opponent, look around the map to see if there's any funny business going on. As it stands, Sage is playing way more standard. Sage's probe, I believe his probe, no, it is still alive. I mean, it's hanging around in the base, but that's actually kind of good for Hero because at least he knows that scouting probe isn't off building something somewhere.
That's right, and of course Hero gets in his opponent's base. He's looking for the pylons, and he spotted 2 of them. He spotted that 3rd one. Okay, yes. He spotted all 3 pylons. So he knows there's no funny business going on this game. He knows it's a very standard opening from his opponent. Then the probe has to leave the base before the Stalker comes out and kills it.
Well, Sage continues to scout here. I mean, there's nothing that can really stop it until either the Mothership Core or the Stalker comes out to deal with it. Yep, just like that. So the probe is now going to have to leave, but it's not going to get the chance. It gets eliminated quite easily there by Hero. So now Sage's starting to play blind, but he's got some ideas about what his opponent's planning on doing.
And that was a very useful scout. I mean, the fact that he hid the probe, and then the Hero's first Stalker left the base, and he snuck in behind it. And then what that allowed him to do is if Hero went straight for Twilight Council after the Stalker when he thought he was safe from being scouted, that would have been found out by Sage. So Sage was keeping an eye. He knows there's no fast tech from his opponent.
Yeah, and that's really, really good information to have. Both guys playing a little less crazy in this particular game. We do have the expansion coming down here from Sage, and we're going to Robo on its way up for Hero. So the question is, where does he decide to go from here?
Oh, Hero's trying to send in a probe, but I think, did Sage's Stalker see it?
He might have.
Mothership Core's trying to distract.
Yeah, it's always hard to say, isn't it? Even if it popped up on the minimap or on the screen, maybe he wasn't quite looking where we were looking. Difficult to say. Hero coming in for the interception, and I mean, he's going to get that Stalker. Nice little grab there by him.
And that's going to be a nice win. Every single unit early on, it really represents, it's your map control. And Now with only 2 sentries and 1 stalker, he can't really fight the 3 stalkers on the map, so Hero can go and put some damage on a Nexus.
Well, the funny thing is the Nexus isn't done yet, so you can't put a cannon on it. And with 3 stalkers, that's not going to be enough to kill that before it goes up. The shields are pretty strong on that. There's a lot of structure points that he'll have to make his way through. So that Nexus cannon is most likely going to come into effect. Mothership Core from Hero comes in around the side, gets shot down quite easily rather than shot down. And now, of course, he knows he can pull it. He'd love to trap these with the Nexus Cannon there, pulling a Naniwar-esque maneuver, but he doesn't get the chance to do that. Hero is a little too savvy.
And look at this, Hero going straight for the Colossi tech this game. Of course, he's getting his own expansion as well. And I really like that decision. If you know your opponent can't attack you because they're expanding, you've kind of got them on the defensive, you want to get a tech of your own up very fast. And he already had the Robo, so Colossi tech is, of course, the closest thing there that he's already going in that direction.
Yeah, certainly. And we will see how that goes for him. And the scout is coming in there by Sage, and it is going to see exactly what he needs to know. Now, the question is, of course, where does Sage go from there? Getting Immortals out, definitely a good first decision there, just pumping them out, getting ready for a defense. And with the Colossus coming out on the field here, Sage is certainly under pressure. He's only got a limited amount of time to get something in play, puts a Stargate down as well. Tossing some Void Rays in there would be a great move, even just getting a Phoenix or 2 perhaps. We'll see what he decides to do.
Hero, the instant that Stargate went down, Hero actually has a hallucinated Phoenix popping around Sage's base, and it's seen just about everything. So both players being very diligent in their scouting, and this is always a really interesting type of matchup. When you have one player going for the Colossus, another player going for the Stargate composition. Now, of course, Colossi obviously can't hit air, but it's not like they're useless against Stargates because there's going to be a lot of ground units in that composition as well.
Yeah, that's very, very true. So Stargate is about to complete. We'll see what he decides to throw out of there. I mean, Phoenix don't do a huge amount of damage to Colossus, but they're fast, they're maneuverable, they can still hit them. Then we've got the Void Ray, which is a great option because of that, plus damage against Armored, though a little bit slower, a little bit easier to get out of position. But he brings the Void Ray into play. Okay, so the aggression is on. Hero is moving forward towards the natural expansion. He has only a single Colossus in this entire composition, so this is hitting a lot faster than you would have expected. Hero's not even building a second Colossus behind this. He's going for Blink.
Yeah, exactly. No Colossi range, no second Colossus going for upgrades, Blink. Eventually, he's probably going to add in even charge lots and Archons, but right now, trying to put on some pressure. Photon Overcharge goes down, and that might force him back. In fact, he could get stuck in the corner here.
Force fields are nice here for Hero, but not nice enough to stop pursuit. However, that will be. And immediately, we've got Sage just rolling out onto the map as that warping has been used. And honestly, I mean, that was not exactly all that effective. It didn't really do all that much. The transition out to Immortal and Blink Stalker is an interesting one. If, of course, Sage overcommits to air units, that could be a problem for him.
Exactly. As long as you have a lot of Blink Stalkers on the field, you can deal with the air. The problem is always, you know, how can your Blink Stalkers kill the air without dying to your opponent's Immortals? And then it all comes down to who has more Zealots in the front and whose Zealots die first. And because once the Zealots die, then the more important units come under fire.
Absolutely.
So Sage going for a third Nexus here and going for Colossi tech of his own, while Hero's still on 2 bases, adding more gateways.
That's a big Immortal count there for Sage as he menaces that army, and there is only a single Colossus. If I recall correctly, there's no extended thermal lance on that Colossus either, so it's going to be way, way easier to get at it. Void Ray's currently just floating around the battlefield, picking off pylons here and there. It won't be contributing to this fight. There is a single Void Ray there. There is also that Mothership Core for Sage, which has a decent amount of energy. It's got enough now for 1 time warp. Hero's Mothership Core is hanging out close to the Nexus to deploy that cannon.
A nice little move here with the Void Ray, trying to get some scouting information. I think he doesn't know his opponent has Blink or wouldn't be doing this, because with Blink available, he could lose that Void Ray.
Oh, yes, he loses that Void Ray in fine style. Not good at all. And Hero's, of course, losing pylons around the map. That does mean he is supply blocked for at least the next 20 or so seconds, which is nice. I mean, in a PvP, that does matter an awful lot. Sage, on the other hand, has to be keeping on top of that supply. He's got plenty to play with. Hero looking for a transition here. He's getting a Warp Prism out. He's also getting Templar and +2. I mean, this is Tech City, honestly. These guys maneuvering, transitioning out, and a second Void Ray goes down. Great grab there by Hero.
Hero's really picking off all these Void Rays, but behind the Sage has identified his opponent hasn't kept going for the Colossi route. In fact, he's getting a lot of Blink Stalkers. So Sage has actually built a second Robo building double robo production. If Hero gives him too much time, once there's a bunch of Immortals and Colossi on the field, those Blink Stalkers really lose a lot of their value.
That they do. Well, the Warp Prism is on its way in here right now. That's also going to give him the ability to blink into the main. He blinks straight on top of the pylon. Warp is coming in right now as well. Let's see what he can make happen. A couple of Zealots coming in. The Immortals trying to get into position to do damage. The Blink Stalkers, however, will be able to get out of there. They blink to attempt to engage against that Void Rain. They do pick it up with the last salvo. Excellent, efficient play coming in here from Hero. He'll be able to blink straight off the ridge here and fire from the low ground. The Immortals move into position and are able to take out a Stalker or two. Little bit of harass. There was also an attempted flank around the right side here from Hero as well, but that hasn't really done much as of yet. The majority of the army here from Sage is actually looking to get an engagement. That's not a fight he wants to take, but those Immortals are trapped in the front. There's the recall being used by Sage. This is quite the game.
Really great plays by both players. Hero trying to move Sage back to the main so he can snipe to third base. Sage not falling for it, but then overextending his army, being forced to recall. Now Hero has this great position on third base. He can time up the ramp and try to snipe that Nexus. Dexter's going to go for it.
Oh, where's that time warp? We need to see that coming in one way or the other. Here comes the engagement. Good arc coming in, a good blink right on top of the Colossus, focusing that down. The Immortals from Sage, however, are still alive, but they're not able to get the fire on. The Stalker stuck at the back here. Great arc of engagement here by Hero. That should be enough to smash his way through the remainder of Sage's army here, but those Immortals are still a problem. He's got to take them out.
Oh, he's flanked with some
There
Stalkers.
we go.
A blink right on top, focusing those Immortals as soon as possible. And Hero looks like he's about to take this game.
Absolutely. What a great engagement by Hero. What a smart play. And there's the GG. Well. Hero pulls it up a one apiece. And we'll, of course, be going on to game 3. Not exactly something you've heard too much of on the main stage this weekend.
No, not too often. Not too common, but these guys are so evenly matched there. You know, that was a super close match. Sage maybe even had a slight edge there, but then he overextended his army. When he was forced to recall back to his natural, he just wasn't in a position to defend his third base.
No, he wasn't. And that was a great play from Hero to draw him out, force that recall, and then go straight for the third, which meant that he was dashing, scrambling to defend it. He wasn't in a good position, whereas Hero had all the time in the world to set up this beautiful position where he'd be able to use all of his units to the maximum effect while units bumbled around in the back there for Sage. Great engagement, smart play, the kind of thing we expect from Hero is right back in this series. Can he make it 2-1? We'll find out.